Did you hit the button or you pretending?
I hit the button this time.
Are you sure?
Pretty
This is
sure.
about delivering great exclusive games for you
Phil.
that ship on platforms where Game Pass exists.
Hey, welcome to Real Deal Xbox Podcast. We got a phenomenal show, a bunch of great topics, a fantastic panel, and one shout out to Liz, Fork Boy's daughter. Happy 16th birthday to Liz, and thank you, Fork Boy, for saying awesome show. Just to kind of open things up. Again, got some shout outs, some introductions here, some great panels. Thanks for joining us, guys. If you're here, hit the like button, share it out for us, help us out a little bit as we do roll into all the latest and greatest Xbox, PlayStation topics. Hey, D-Batch, how you been, buddy?
Good, man. It was a pretty good weekend. It was WrestleMania weekend, was pretty interesting, and I see we got some good topics today, so let's just get into it.
Always. Fonzarelli, how you been, brother?
Been good. I'm ready to talk about these games, and it's been nice being able to play MLB The Show and not have to pay for it. It's great.
Hey, xCloud Tim Dog, how you been?
Yo, what's up? I'm playing our Major League Baseball 2021-2022 right now.
Pretty similar titles, huh? Hey, Zalker, how you been, buddy?
Good, man. Excited to jump into all these topics. Plus, did you see the Unreal Engine 5 stuff, man? It's pretty good.
Sure did.
It's awesome.
Looks
Yes,
like
you did.
Xbox
Tomb Raider's coming, bitch.
Well, Xbox is leading the way with that Unreal 5 and whatnot.
Yeah, they are. They even said it, and they're like, and there's job openings for all of these. It's like, damn, recruitment munch, huh?
Yeah, they're trying to do big things, and to do that, they need big things. Hey, I got some. Again, we got a shout out to Fork Boy, and again, happy birthday to Liz. Just to open things up, big shout out to Fork, longtime supporter. But got to give a big shout out to the patron tier real quick. Dub Mobile, Ricky Fallon, Dave Incubus. We've also got Fault Lines, Ruben Almighty, Not Silent, Bad Boy Live, Achievement, Nanopolymath, Zordon, Costanza, KY Bob, Goose8402, Strike Khalifa, Assassin Lupa, Foreign Object, Gab Queez, Teo, John Blue, Vec Boss, Real Deal Neil, Suicide King, Tasteless Genie, Michael Bowen, Guillermo Cavillo, All Might, Dark CMF, and Alfonso Hogan. That list updates around the 5th of every single month. If you're not in there, and you should be, let me know, please. Also, just big shout out to everyone that's carrying us on to 5 years doing this stuff. Fonz is reminding me multiple times, holy crap, it's going to be 5 years. And it really is going to be like 5 years, I think, June this year. And to celebrate that, Dark CMF is going to be supplying an Xbox Series X for one lucky winner on the show here. So if you're in the chat, you're participating, you're in the comments, you're out there listening to the show, telling friends about the show and stuff. Hey, we are looking to give away, not only just games every single show, apparently, because we got some awesome guys in the chat constantly chunking games, but also a Xbox Series X to go along with the Xbox Series S a month or so ago. So shout out to Dark CMF. I will tag him in the post-show tweet so you can follow him, and we'll definitely be giving that stuff away. But, hey, did you guys... I had a little spyglass out. I was looking around.
Yep.
And I realized I had tape on the end of it. I couldn't see nothing. So when I could start to look around for shit, I realized that big Sony buy, that big rumor that people moved their podcast for last week, just never happened.
It really didn't.
What the hell was that, Zalker? What did these podcasts move and just be like, oops?
I don't know what the hell that was going on. Everybody was like, "Oh, it's from software. Oh,
holy
it's
crap,
Capcom.
Mike!
Oh, it's
what
Konami."
the hell happened to clapping your mic, Zalker? What'd you do?
I didn't do anything.
Damn.
I don't know what's going on.
You're clipping bad, man. Fix your shit. I'll come to Tim Dog with this one because I'm sure you're aware. Like Greg Miller said, he's moving his podcast. There's some big stuff coming, and even if one of them was true, it was gonna melt people's brains, off their faces or whatever. What happened? I mean, I haven't heard anything.
Nothing happened. A lackluster PS Plus announcement, merger, whatever the hell you want to call it. I think it just goes to show you that it's not easy to predict these acquisitions like people think that they are. There's a lot at stake, and there's a lot of things that actually it's illegal to know about. So some of the information that's like secondhand information, inside information. So. Yeah, I mean, Jeffrey Grubb said that he heard the same thing, but I think there's a little bit of egg on the face. I was actually hyped up too. I was like, this is it. They're going to get From Software. Every day came by and there was nothing, and there was no big news. But yeah, I don't really think that people are going to get announcing acquisitions beforehand. I just think it's just too privileged information, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. And these are guys these are like media guys that are tied to IGN and stuff, like obviously getting their start there and kind of riding that and making contacts through that whole platform and kind of still getting some of this stuff way off. And this ain't the first time. It happens to everybody, but I could have swore, Fonz, that this was something big last week and dudes from, was going crazy over this.
Yeah, no, dude, they're holding it off until they show gameplay for Starfield. Then they're going to try to one up them with, we got this studio that nobody knows and hasn't produced a game yet.
Is that what they're saying?
Get everybody hyped. No.
Okay.
I have no idea. I'm just saying that's who knows what Sony would do, but usually when if like Jeff Grubb or somebody like that says that they hear something, maybe something will come from it, but I don't know, man. Like, you would think that if they were pushing for last week, hey, it's going to happen. They're going to pick up this. And it was From Software. That's who they kept pushing. It's going to be From Software. Because they already own stake in From Software.
Well, it wasn't just them. Am I okay now? I hope I'm okay.
You're a little better. Just don't yell or talk super loud.
Yeah, so it wasn't just that. It was Jeff Grubb talking about something. Greg Miller was talking about something. He was saying like, oh, the 3 things coming out. So all these people were talking, and then they were like, well, we don't really want to put our names on it because then it's like almost insider trading. And like, it's not good to do that, blah, blah, blah. But then they were like, I wouldn't be surprised if this happens in a week, a month, or a year. And it's like, what? It's like, what are we talking about?
Well, even Nick from Era, and he gets a lot of PlayStation stuff right. He said it was definitely happening, I believe, or something was going to happen Thursday. So it definitely feels like there was something that was thrown out there for
They're holding it.
Influencers. But again, this just could be people bored and trying to spark it up for Sony right now, which is kind of. I mean, they just released 3 games, but I don't know. I kind of feel like they kind of want some news or something to combat what happened with Activision.
Yeah, and I think some people were saying it was Konami last week, and people have talked about CD Projekt Red. From software, which I would definitely.
Software was all over the place. Even I was like, okay, that sounds right, because I remember floating the idea on this show when we were talking about how they could, respond. So even I was like, and then as the week went down, I was like, what a fool I was. Like this shit, nobody knows anything.
That's and I get like the whole thing, but to me, it's not even like a response anymore. It's like, we know Sony's going to buy studios. It's like that's done, right? Like everybody knows that like there's going to be a studio announcement. Everybody knows Xbox is probably going to buy someone else once the deal with Activision closes or even beforehand. I mean, we have to remember like right now it's all about manpower, getting studios just to make games for your platform. And so yeah, Sony is going to buy more. Right now the Destiny or Bungie was the biggest one. And this next one, they're like, it's massive. And the only thing that I could think of that is massive is like From Software would be great, right? Like I get it. But it would have to be somebody like a Ubisoft or like a publisher that has multiple developers for it to be like massive. But I also feel like people are just looking. I don't know, man. I just feel like people are looking for attention at this point.
It could be. I got to give a shout out to TG Gamer, new channel member. Ryan, $20 super says his dealer and everybody included. Thank you for your streams here. You guys are absolutely phenomenal. I like to hit your stream with this message. Game publishers need to just release games when they are truly ready, period. Big bravo there. Give Ryan a thumbs up, because that is the statement of the day. We've also got Clutch, Clutchman01. He says that UE5 stream was incredible. Must watch. Agreed. Thank you very much, sir. Shout out to everyone in the super chat, all the channel members and stuff. I see you guys in the chat. Let us know your thoughts as we do go, because we got a lot more to go. I wanted to bring up though. Hey, I don't spy with my little eye. Little fucking Sony announcement today or last week, and I'm just a little confused. But you know what? We're not confused about, but still are confused about this abandoned developer interview.
Oh my God!
Now, you guys remember Blue Box? What's it called? Blue Box?
Yeah,
Scambox.
Yes.
Remember those dudes that put out the little video of dude stubbing his foot on the board in the middle of the night, and he's like, "Hey, this is our game. It's a big thing coming tomorrow." And turns out he did an interview with Colin Moriarty. And we all already knew that this guy and his whatever team it was had basically promised multiple games over the past 7 to 10 years, and never delivered on any of them after raising hundreds of thousands of dollars over Kickstarter. And he goes on, I think Colin Moretti did an interview with him, and multiple others said they were going to, but some of them said it wasn't even worth doing a video on. Just turns out that the guy, basically, they've got no money, and they want to sell you a prologue, to fund the full game, basically. They want to sell you a prologue of the game they never did deliver on the first place with the Kickstarter money. To fund the full game of the thing that don't exist, that was a scam, and fucking holy shit, anyone who pushed blue box is a fraud.
It was one of the most awkward interviews I've ever seen. Like every question Colin gave him was answered that just begged more questions. Like he tried asking him like, "Oh, what's your history of developing games? Do you have like, are you like, what's your education or what have you done?" And he's like, "I was 14 and I bought like a book. I'm self-taught." And I was just like, "Oh, okay. Like, oh, you're self-taught in what way?" Like it was so. I
taught myself to scam on the streets.
Yeah.
Oh, Colin systematically like destroyed him. Like basically like showed that he's a scammer.
It's not hard to destroy a guy that destroys himself.
I know. There's no team. It's just this dude in his closet.
Well, let me clarify. I want to clarify a few things.
Yeah.
Because there's pieces to this puzzle. He in this interview, he's talking about like things like they had a publisher at one time, okay? And Colin was asking him about this publisher, and he kept saying like, well, they funded us, and then they wanted to see what we were up to, and then the funds just got messed up, or he kept saying something to that effect, like the funds got messed up, so we couldn't do that. And basically it came down to, and he even said this on Colin on his show, that they still as of now only have that 5-second trailer. That's it. I wonder where they used Unreal assets.
I want to say something because I believe on this show we were really we were like the first to call this out. I mean, there were some people that were in defense saying that, these are hidden hints that it's going to be a Silent Hill. It's Kojima. He's helping out. And I believe on this show we brought up, somebody tweeted to us, and it actually is thrown around, and it was the tweet of how this studio, what they worked on and what they accomplished, was basically nothing. And we went over it, and I remember us saying that this is a fraud all the way back when, and there was genuine hype in the PlayStation community for this. And I think now everyone just knows this game, I don't think is ever getting released.
No, did anybody just pay attention to the damn details? Did anybody see where he was being interviewed? It's the same damn room he recorded those videos where he was talking about the studio. Like he's just doing this, like he's just a dude at his house in the Netherlands or wherever he's from, just making shit up to get attention. Like this, like he's not a developer. He doesn't know how to code his way out of a goddamn garbage bag. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Make a hell of a 5-second trailer.
He talked about the reason why people got hyped initially. Okay, when he said that they were giving the title, they weren't going to give the whole title out, but it started with an S and ended with an L. You remember that? And everybody assumed Silent Hill, so everybody went off on that. Kojima, Silent Hill. They were going nuts. Well, Colin asked him about that, and he goes, "Well, we didn't intend for people to think that. We were just saying that it started with an S and ended with an L because it was a survival game." And Colin was just looking at the camera all strange, like, whatever, dude. You could tell he wasn't believing it. And, and the whole thing is he also said the game was announced too soon. And their own app that they put on the PlayStation Store was put up there too soon, he said.
Like, which game? Which one? The first one, the second one, the third one, the fourth one, the fifth one? Which game was announced too soon?
It's crazy. So bottom line is they've abandoned.
Oh man, poor.
He tried to explain to him about how they wanted to sell a prologue for $50, and it's 2 hours, and they haven't even started on it yet, mind you. They just have a plan for this.
Yeah,
it's all smoke and mirrors. There's nothing there. There's no dev team there. This guy's a fraud.
Yeah, I mean, let me give a big shout out to Hargate real quick. He says if there's insider trading, it can't be private party deal. So From Software is out of the picture as it's fully owned by, what is that? Kadiwawa? All right. Well, that's some company I can't pronounce, but they're fully owned apparently. So could Sony possibly acquire that company? Could they go, a notch above?
That's maybe where this got a little, as they say, a little crossed because that deal happened last. I don't know. I think it happened last week where that Kodak, to however you say it, Kodakui.
Yes.
I don't know. It's
That's
no,
it. You got it, Tim. You got it.
No, they bought a portion of From Software, so they bought a percentage stake in that, and that was brought up with when people were saying. But I think that was maybe what they got. It was just a mistake. I don't know. Again, the chances of Greg Miller, and I like Greg and people like that to knowing these type of deals, it's just slim to none, and we should just take it.
Let me finish a few more of these real quick.
He hyped up the PlayStation. He hyped up the
out.
PlayStation Plus subscription. Like he said, that was one of them, and he was saying that is big enough to like take over the week. Like that shitty subscription service was big enough. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Let me give a shout out to Ashtray real quick because he actually mentioned that. He says, okay, so he says the PS Plus premium announcement was so bad they had to make it fake acquisitions. I don't know. I don't pay attention to these guys. I don't follow them either. So I have no idea what they said. Brigaders Blue, by the way, says smash that like button. Everyone. Yeah, big shout out to everyone checking out the show. Hit the like button. Tell a buddy or two about the show. Obviously, we are talking about the latest and greatest topics. Son of Fett, big shout out to you, buddy. He says we need to get Dealer on Spawn Wave. Yeah, I don't know.
That's right.
Yeah, we'll see if I get that invite. Dark CMF, by the way, says Elden Ring Global Code. He's giving away a copy of Elden Ring. If you're one of the 7 people that haven't bought it, this is your chance. By the way, this is Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. You're seeing in the footage running an Xbox Series X. Yes, again, I'm already max level. I'm like level 40 or 50 myth rank. I've been playing the fuck out of this game. It's awesome. I think it's by far the best Borderlands ever. Easily, honestly. It's a blast. Everyone I talk to says the same thing as well. If you haven't played it, man, consider it. It's a good time. But again, I mean, hey, Blue Box, big, yeah. I mean, they kind of let nowhere.
Can I just say something? If Sony does buy like From Software, good on them, cool. But isn't it kind of funny that the rumor is them to buy From Software once they release one of the greatest games ever made? Like it's like, oh yeah, Sony's gonna get them. It's like really once they brought out one of like the most generation-defining games, now all of a sudden they're gonna like what the of course, right? Like that's the rumor. That's what they run with. It all compounds to like these like Sony insiders that say stuff and they're not insiders and
they're not the first ones to say it though. Like a lot of people draw that conclusion. The first,
but like all these rumors,
when they made
like,
Bloodborne, right? Like Sony actually helped them make that game, right? So I see the connection.
Don't like it. I just don't like. I see the connection, but I just don't like the acquisition stuff. People that doesn't get like out until hours before it's announced.
Like 4 hours before.
Like 4 hours. Like that's why everybody's like acquisition coming this week. Don't fucking believe it. It's just not happening. Yeah. And then when you look at like it's like all the same thing, just hyping up blue box or blue point blue dumbass. The one blue idiot. That guy. It's like that stuff is like just compounds and it leaves people like just irritated. Like, come on, man. Like have some actual credibility.
I agree with 100% what you're saying. I think everyone should take that tact because even myself, I was like thinking to myself, I'm like, well, Jeff Keighley said this, and now Greg Miller, who definitely probably has connections. Like I talked myself into believing that this was true, and then I'm like, what an idiot I am. I mean,
shout out to Keighley.
I mean, it's just it's stupid, and I do believe it's because. I think Sony can't basically, and I'm not trying to be a dick here.
You are.
No, I'm not. I think that they're a little nervous right now. I think that, there's a lot of talk today on how they're not going to have a game for 6 months, and
well, we know how they feel, Tim. I mean,
but yeah, exactly. And I actually defended them on that because they just had 3 games released. But, I just feel like that their fan base is a little jittery because, here Xbox was supposed to be the last place joke for this whole gen, and it was a foregone conclusion. And Xbox has beaten Switch in UK, and they're supposedly going to challenge Switch in NPD this month.
We're going to get into the specifics of that soon.
Yeah. But I don't want to ruin the topic, but I'm just saying I just feel like that they're a little... They want some big news to just kind of like secure the base a little, and I've been there on the other side where I want like Xbox to make a big splash, but that stuff usually never happens. It happens when you least expect it. So
Yeah, I mean, Xbox is actually doing a lot better than what a lot of people think. It's kind of surprising. Joaquin, by the way, just as Super Tech says, it's white. What is that? White Knight. Shout out to you. He says, why is no one talking about the? What is that?
Callisto
Oh,
Protocol.
okay. Yeah, what is that?
I have no idea.
Yeah, from the creators of Dead Space, looks awesome. I've not seen it, man. Is that? I'm guessing is it kind of a reimagination of Dead Space without being Dead Space?
It's an upcoming third-person survival horror game scheduled for release this year, developed by Striking Distance Studios. It's a survival horror game.
Well, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing some more from it. RDX Son of Fett says a big shout out to Tunic. Xbox should buy the developer. That's kind of an impressive little game for the size of the studio. I'll be honest. I've got a decent amount of time in Tunic. I don't know if you guys have put any time into that game. Did you at least find
like
the
an
sword?
hour? I played about like an hour, I think.
Did you find the sword?
Wait, I think I did.
It gets a lot better when you find the sword, okay?
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, chat, let us know if you play Tunic.
You know?
Yeah, let's go ahead and move forward, though. Blue box and all that stuff, big waste of time. The guy's basically scamming people over and over and over. I can't believe people, even Dreamcast guy was like, I talked to him. I'm not even going to do a video on it. Basically, he don't got no money. So if you're curious about Blue Box, that's kind of the full story. It's all come full circle. They're broke. They're broke.
They never existed.
They never made anything. They said they had some games.
But you know, send them $50 and they might make a prologue.
And be sure and download the app on PlayStation. And no wonder Yoshida was side-eyeing that whole thing. Big shout out to Yoshida. He knew.
On Twitter, yeah, he knew.
He was like, Big Xbox Game Pass update. Some of you guys might have seen this. Some Activision games, Call of Duty, for example, have been spotted in the Xbox Game Pass deals page. They are not currently available. Could these be heading to Game Pass sooner than later? And why would they be showing up in the Game Pass deals page, Tim Dog?
Who knows? Probably coming. Game Pass is, or at this point, you're more likely to accept it's coming than it's not coming. So, yeah, I think that it's possible. I think that you're going to get a big release every month until just for the rest of the year. They're very focused on Game Pass. I mean, I even seen people today complaining about Game Pass, but you look at what they released. Pretty impressive, you know what I mean? And they also, as people to forget, they release during the month too. So there will be some more April releases. And they're just, it's at this point, Game Pass is it's to be expected to come.
Yeah, I mean, it can't possibly be a bad thing. I'll tell you that, more games than Game Pass. Speaking of more games, MLB 22, The Show, yes, Sony's first party title. The next iteration has hit Xbox Game Pass day and date. As many of you know, some of you might be playing it right now. And I just got to give a big shout out to Xbox for giving us the roster update for absolutely free. Because from what everyone's saying, this is basically the same damn game as the last one with, I don't know, apparently it's pretty egregiously the same, Tim. I mean, it's surprisingly the same to you, even for a yearly kind of a sports franchise, it's kind of worse than normal? Is that what you're saying?
It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. I mean, I played a lot of 21 and I played a couple of games, and legitimately there is maybe a little bit more presentation, guys wearing sunglasses, maybe little things here and there, a little attention to detail stuff. But to be charging $70 for this, or even $60, it's a lot, because it just, I think what happened is they took a lot of on their plate with Switch version and the Xbox version that they really didn't add to the game. I mean,
No.
I just feel like it's one of the worst takes of it. Listen, Madden does it and they all do it. So I'm not going to say that Sony's guilty here. But yeah, it's, if you had 21 and you had to pay for this game, I would, even me as a baseball guy, I would seriously think that it's not worth it. I don't think it's going to review well because of this. We shall see, but it really is, from year to year, they usually add something that's pretty big. And I don't know. Maybe I have to play it a little bit more. Maybe something in the franchise, but the game overall, it's the same game.
Well, I mean, you're not alone because Fonz was literally just playing 21 last night, and D has something to add to all this afterwards. But Fonz, you were playing 21 last night. You come to 22 today, and
I started 22 today, and I was like, deja vu. This is the same. Like, what's real different here? Nothing. You know, they're not chewing or spitting tobacco. You know, nothing's happening. You know, that wasn't happening in the first game.
Same animations,
same animations, same facial features, beards, and everything. Like it just it's all the same. Like there's nothing different here. From what I could tell. Like seriously, I just played 21 last night for a while, and then I played 22 today. And I was just like, okay. But, you know, it's like you said earlier, all these sports games nowadays do this. They do the roster change thing every year. They might tweak a little something, but you barely notice it. Is it worth $70? Hell no, it's not worth $70. But if you want to play it on PlayStation, you got to spend that $70.
That's what I was going to say. Like, my thing is with this game, and I thought this last year when Microsoft sent me the code for 21, and I was sitting there playing this thing, and I was like, this looks like the PS4 Pro version of the game. Like, they've literally not done anything different. I don't understand why there's two versions. Why are they separate? It doesn't make any sense. With 2K21, I would at least say that versus the last-gen version of 2K21, and same with 2K22, there are very big visual improvements in animations and all kinds of stuff. And as shitty as the game still can be, I understand that at least there's a leap. With MLB, it's surprising just not leveraging hardware at all at this point. And, D-Batch, at least we get the roster update for free on Game Pass. Unfortunately, some got to pay for that.
First, I got to say, it must be a hell of a deal they're getting from Game Pass because they're not forced to put it in Game Pass. And yet, here it is again, second year in a row in Game Pass. So I think Game Pass is good for developers. It's good for companies. That's proof of it right there. I will give Sony a little bit of credit on this game for the there's no performance issues on any of the systems. It seems to run well on all the systems. And I was actually surprised at how good it looks on the Switch. But you guys are right. It's basically the same as 2021. And you're right. They're not the only company that's guilty of this. But I think, and I say this all the time, but unless gamers finally realize the power that they have over these companies, it's going to remain the same. If the game, like even WWE 2K22, I did a comparison between the two. Last gen and next gen, the only real difference is a slight upgrade in the textures, which you really got a pixel peak for it, as well as just higher resolution. Apart from that, it's the same game and they're charging more for it. So gamers really got to make a stand here and say, listen, we're not going to pay $70 or in my country, $90 for a game that's exactly the same as the previous year, but it's just a roster update. Now, if these companies were smart and they wanted the will of the people, what they should do is just offer like a $40 DLC roster upgrade on the years where you're not making incremental changes over the engine, where you're not really adding anything. I think they'd actually probably make a lot more money that way because more people would jump in, because there's a lot of people that say, hey, you know what, NBA 2K22 or NHL or whatever sports game they play, Madden, it's the same as the previous year, and they just can't be bothered to get the game. I think if you offered a $40 upgrade, $30 upgrade with the roster, I think it would sell more. I think it'd be better for the industry, and I think it'd be better for consumers. I just don't understand why gamers keep paying for the same freaking game. Like, it's just a roster update. Like Madden did the same thing. Like
it's a thing that sports games do, right? It's a game that it's something that happens. Like Madden's doing it, NBA has done it. Like they just keep reiterating. And if you look at MLB The Show, last year that game was a 78 on Metacritic, and this year it's an 80 right now with only like 5 reviews. So the game is not highly rated. It's getting decent. Like everybody thought MLB The Show was like, this is it, this is the big one, and that's all I kept hearing. But when you go back and look at the scores, like the user score is 4.1 last year. And this isn't a game that got like user scored review bombed. This is people that are genuinely pissed. And the new one has a 7.2 user score. So it's that is actually not that well done.
Ain't no back at you with 2 out of 10.
Yeah, like I'm just saying, like, if you're charging extra for people to get like an upgrade that looks like shit, I don't like that.
This is why I think a game like MLB The Show should be put into their service. There's no reason why they shouldn't. It's a Sony-made game. it's just a roster update every year. Sporting game, they should throw it in their service. Be good to their customers,
Yeah.
And it's sad that Game Pass has a Sony-made title, day and date, and they don't in their own damn premium service. It's crazy.
That is interesting.
I can speak for myself here. I hope that I'd rather pay if they redid it than to be in Game Pass than to have the game be in Game Pass and be subpar like it is, or just an update. They need to get they need a new engine. They need to scale off Xbox One and PS4 versions. They really need to, show themselves next year. And, because this is honestly, like I said, it's pretty much the worst I think I've ever seen as far as what they call these updates. And as I said, they all do it. Madden was pretty bad, but they all seem to, and this one will too, during the year, maybe get updates. Like the Madden this year, when it came out, was pretty much the same, but 6 months later, there's a lot more to the Madden. So maybe they could do some of that, but yeah, they really need to try.
It's not gonna change.
Listen,
sometimes
it changes after.
There's no competition.
Look, the topic's not this interesting. I mean, come on.
Let me just say this though. At the very least, delay it a year. So like say
give a year off. Yeah.
Instead of next year having a new game, just do a $30 DLC roster update, and then the next year come out with your new version. I think everybody be happy.
Well, that would be if the fans and the people came first, but that's just not the way things work. So at the end of the day, we're just going to ask them to do better next time. Help them up off the ground and dust their little kneecaps off and tell them, get your shit together, push the fucking hardware, and please tell me why people are paying $70 for this, especially on PlayStation. Zalker, can you get some of these super chats up and already? Got a few, and I want to give a shout out to 1,000 people watching this live, guys. If you haven't, hit the like button, tell a buddy or two about the show. Obviously, we're covering all the latest topics. We got a phenomenal chat, a ton of people in the chat giving their thoughts, including, but not limited to, it's Timmy, Meat Puppy, WTF, Sir X-Man. We got a bunch of people. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, he said, shout out to the RDX panel and mods. Thanks, Meat Puppet. He's a member. We got Lord Starkiller. We'll be playing MLB The Show 22 soon, courtesy of Game Pass. PlayStation folks will need to pay $70. Laughing emoji.
Oh, man.
Savageness. Joaquin Branchi says, if you guys were Phil Spencer, do you buy Epic Games or Steam?
Epic Games is worth a lot.
I was about to say Unreal Engine alone and Fortnite are insane, and then Steam has like FU money. Like that is insane. Like it would be a massive buy to get.
It'd be a massive buy for either. Yeah.
Just buy the world. How about that? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If anything, you'd buy Steam because they dominate the PC market.
Shout out to Psychonauts.
Hargi Chani says PlayStation games not so good lately. Horizon Forbidden West, GT7, and now MLB The Show. Not exactly bangers. They're good, not great. So quality narrative gone as well. Damn, Hargi. Take it easy.
Hargi's really diving quick on that one.
Yeah. We got Dark CMF. He says, shout out to Brigaders Blue for playing a key role in helping me secure an Xbox Series X for giveaway. Cheers.
Shout out to Dark. He's giving away a Series X for RDX listeners.
I got two more. We got Scarlett Scarabee says, I've never understood why sports games came out every year. Why couldn't it go as a monthly or yearly subscription service for MLB and Madden? I agree. I honestly agree. I didn't play all these games unless they were on subscription. Like EA, like Madden, I'd play every year. It goes on EA Play. So then I would just play it later. Who cares? We got Sir X-Men. Last one. Version of MLB 22 could cost Sony its licensing.
Ooh. Sir X-Man with the bomb. Hey, did you guys hear about this Undead Labs article titled? It's from Kotaku. It's titled "Allegations of Sexism, Bullying, and Burnout Inside the Microsoft Studio behind State of Decay 3." And basically, what this all boils down to is, it seems like some people from Undead Labs are blaming Microsoft for not controlling them enough, and that's why some of their shit fell apart. Did anyone else get that? I was talking to Obi about this.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah,
so
we talked-
basically
me
they
and
were scared that the corruption and the bad thing would happen because of Microsoft and that they would be tainted by this machine. But the company that is always accused of, controlling these developers won't have freedom. They can't do what they want. They have so much that they fucking couldn't babysit themselves. And the game apparently was experiencing issues because Microsoft didn't step in where maybe they should have. And I agree, maybe you got to manage some things here and there. But ultimately, they thought Microsoft would control them too much. And as a result of basically letting them have free reign, they had all these issues internally, apparently.
Yeah, you know what that tells me? That tells me that their management wasn't so great. In Undead Labs, behind every great game is great management, and honestly, things happen with every development team. I'm sure everyone goes through some type of development hell, but I think some more than others, and I definitely think that there's this development team that we're speaking on today, Undead Labs, definitely needed more. I won't say babysitting, but at least, some upper management checking in from time to time, making sure that they're on progress. Because right now they're still in pre-production, 3 years into building State of Decay 3. That's insane.
Well, it's more than that. They're 4 years.
Yeah.
Like it started in 2018. And again, this is another 2018 buy that they did at that big announcement that's having trouble. The only one that initiative needed to go to Crystal Dynamics, half the team left, blah, blah, blah. Now Undead Labs. This is basically Microsoft, again, learning, right? Seeing we bought these people. We're having trouble with certain things. Oh, the only one was Playground Games. That kind of was just because they had good, like Fawn said, management. The thing that Microsoft is doing is they are hands off because they're hiring adults to do adult fucking work. Yeah. And these adults aren't doing the work.
Yeah.
So that is a problem. That is like literally Agile Scrum or whatever you want to call it, development cycle 101. You hire people that can get shit done, that are adults, that can manage people, and if they can't, then you need to figure out who's going to do it.
You need someone that can make sure that person can get that shit done.
You can't go in there. Yeah, you can't go in there and just put your like Microsoft did that with Skype, and look what happened. You can't go in there and start forcing your culture or forcing your development cycle on other teams. They need to have that down. And ever since 2018, Microsoft has done that. Look at Double Fine. Look at Obsidian releasing games, bringing stuff out, good management. Look at Bethesda, good management. That's Arcane. All these teams that they've bought and everything, including Activision, no matter what anybody says, they release shit because they have developers in there that they trust. That is the biggest thing I've seen that they've done since 2018 is adjust how they're buying and acquiring people. Is the management if they trust them.
For me, I've always not to interrupt. You want to finish your point?
No, go ahead, brother.
No, but for me, and I talked about this. Listen, what was the biggest rap against Xbox Studios when they acquired was that they were way too abrasive. They lacked the studios lacked creativity because they were told what to do and pressed against whatever would be Connect Sports or whatever it was. I've said this since Phil has really went on this. Phil has always been more of a hands-off type guy. He believes, like Zorker says, adults should manage themselves. And in this case, I do believe that some things were stepped in because they have hired a bunch of new people. And from what I've heard it's gotten a lot better. But I do think it's a learning experience even for Phil with these studios and Matt, that you're going to have to, deal with this, even though, you might want to stay off creativity wise, I do think you have to have an approach to handling what's going on in this industry as far as, the sexism and some of the stuff that seems to have gone rampant. We've seen it with Activision. And I do believe that Xbox will put in a lot of things in places, especially with Activision having these problems with some of these studios, whether it may be more of a hands-on approach or maybe education on this stuff. The article wasn't great, but like I said, from what I've heard, they've gotten themselves in a much better position than they were. And even in the article, it says that people admitted that it's gotten better. They said that Xbox lacked direction, or they didn't give them direction. But again, you can't have it two ways. You can't say I want to do what I want, but then say So I think just overall, it's going to be a learning experience for Phil, and I think that he's always said that it is, and not that he screwed up here. I just think that it's a good time to maybe, try to, I don't know.
They're gonna get new people in there. It's not try a different.
Yeah, no, but
Hang on, let Tim finish.
My point is like the stuff like the sexism and the stuff that they talked about that. There has to be something implemented, or at least an attempt to try and quell that. And I think that will happen because they're going to have to do it with Activision. But it might be a good thing to have just even footprint wise for the studios, whether it's an HR, a 3-day course or whatever. Even though it's stupid, whatever, it's not stupid, but it's corporation stuff. They have to do it, and they have to try to guard against it because it just seems very rampant in the industry. Yeah. Not just Xbox, just all over.
And just to note real quick, this is something that happens in most studios that we hear about. And with Undead Labs, their second game, right? They just released with a bevy of issues. And their third title, we just expected that, hey, Microsoft would buy them, the management that they had would kind of stay there, and Matt Booty would check in and be like, hey, y'all doing some good shit? All right, I'm out. And then they would release a game, and then that shit didn't happen. And, unfortunately, this is the first case where we're hearing like, look, we were acquired, and we had too much freedom. Fuck. Like, we just didn't know what to do with ourselves. It's just odd to hear about.
One thing that has to be added, though, is for context here, is that any small studio like Undead Labs, when they were acquired, they were pretty small.
40, 50 people, I think.
They grew pretty exponentially underneath Microsoft. Microsoft invested a lot of money into them. And anytime you grow a company like that or a development team, you're going to get some chaos in there.
That's a good point.
And that's why you need great management there. And apparently what it seems like to me, and I'm just making assumptions, their management couldn't handle that many people.
Yeah.
It's not about handling, it's about
that's what I think.
The thing with like tech industry, and IBM spent millions of dollars. IBM, Apple, all these big companies, including Microsoft, they didn't understand that like when you put more people on something to create software, create anything, it actually like hurt the development. It took a lot longer. It's not like, I've given this example. It's not like building a house, right? If you build a house with one guy, it's going to take this amount of time. If you add like 4 other guys, it's going to be a lot faster because, hey, you guys have more hands. That's not how it is in development.
Yeah.
Because there's a blueprint, right? And there's no creative vision involved, and there's no creative, here's the thing, creative directors and Microsoft and other teams need to just say, hey, look, here's Billy. Billy makes really good games. Everything that this guy has come out with under his lead and his vision, like Cory Barlog, right? Just do what the fuck he says. Everything he says, everyone do what he says. Everyone get out of the kitchen. Stop saying you think this turtle mission shouldn't be in the game. Stop offering your opinion on creative whatever the fuck. This is Billy shit. And he's the head of the snake. And just do what the fuck he says. And that's the problem with some of this stuff is when you get more cooks in the kitchen, I think it needs more paprika. Shut the fuck up with the paprika. We ain't having none of that. It's Billy's game. He doesn't like paprika. He makes this type of game. He does it very well. And we can do it in pretty quickly if you just listen to him instead of arguing with him about his decisions. And that's basically what happens with a lot of these bigger games.
Help, like Cory Barlog, like if you saw the raising from Kratos, he literally pointed to, I think her name was Joy or something like that. Like the lady that helped him and the other like person that like the 3 other leads. And he's like, this game would not exist without them. He's like, I would not be able to do my job because he'd have days where he just was not on and they would take over and he would be like, all right, cool. And like, listen to them today or whatever. Like he pointed those like 3 people out and said, without them, this doesn't exist.
Okay.
Like that's the whole point of that is that maybe they do like see one guy, but also it's like you need that other management and that whole sexist and sexism, whatever that's going on. That's just fucking dumb. Like whoever that is, get them the hell off.
If it's happening, 100%, like we don't have to white knight. I say it a million times. We're not going to take the show there. It's common sense. Don't do dumb shit to your employees or with your employees or any of that dumb shit. Treat everybody fairly. We're not going to sit on that topic because I feel like it's common sense. Yeah. But at the end of the day, if it's happening, Zalker, obviously it needs to be dealt with. But
get them out.
You got a situation here where a team was handed too much freedom and didn't know how to deal with it, and I get that. It's just a weird scenario because the exact opposite of what people were saying was going to happen. Microsoft would force them to make fucking Kinect games again. Who knows? It's endless pit of dog shit narratives that kind of spun around itself.
Everybody talking about what Xbox is going to force people to do, when then a fucking story came out last year about Sony forcing Bend Studios to do something, or other studios to go be support studios, and it's like, really? So like everybody was saying Xbox is not creative friendly, all that, yet Sony's doing this. Like it doesn't matter. Everybody just says what they want to say because they're dumbasses.
Bro, look at what they've done with every development
way to attack
team
everybody.
they've purchased. They've invested into these teams. They've scaled these teams up, every one of them. So I don't see where they're saying, oh, they're just going to get this team and have them make Game Pass fodder.
Yeah,
it's just.
I don't think all this is development hell. I just want to say this with all this shit, right? Like I said, this happens with a lot of studios. I don't think the game is necessarily development hell. We've said this before. I think they've, from the beginning, had a more grand vision for this game, and they're kind of taking time to figure out how to pull this off. And I think in the process of this, you've had a lot of input from a lot of people, a lot of internal bullshit, and this is the result you get. And it happens across the industry, unfortunately. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's in development hell. I think, as Tim said, they're already talking about how a lot of this stuff has since gotten better. A lot of these issues are years old, these things that have happened, some of these things that have happened, and they're trying to build out this game with a different vision, a different take, a bigger, more grand vision with hopefully what is better quality. And it's hard to do that sometimes. At the end of the day, it takes more time.
Right. You're 100% right, but where I will say that I disagree in a way is just that it's been 4 years, going on 4 years, and it's been too long for them to be in pre-production still. I mean, for a gamer, like,
define
really
pre-production.
don't care what's going on. Well, nobody's really caring about, as a gamer, about, hey, this stuff is really going on, blah, blah, blah. All they care about is the game at the end of the day, right? And if it's 4 years in and they're still, in early production, or, they say pre-production, but whatever. If it's early in production and we're not going to see this for another 3 years, that's insane. Like, that's a long time.
I think if they don't show in the next year, and I'm talking this year, and like by next year, like late next year, like award show, if they don't show anything for this game, I think it's in development trouble. That's just me. That's just in my head. That's the way I look at it. Because if you look at them, they're not saying anything. They made that studio, remember, that helps with animations. That's based in, I think, Florida or whatever. They started a whole New Orleans. Yeah, they started that whole new studio, but they're not saying anything else. And then this report comes out. But if you look at a team that has been in 3-year development, like the Coalition. Look what they're doing. They're working with Epic. They're showing all this stuff, but they're saying, hey, game-wise, we're not bringing anything out. Just want everybody to know that we want to hone down on what this engine is doing. Mm-hmm. And boom. Like that is really cool of the Coalition to keep fans updated. And then not to mention, we get like 3 or 4 updates from them of the engine and what they're working on. And it kind of hypes you, right? Because that's a good studio with good management and like amazing pedigree. So that's what I'm talking about. That's what I want to see. The Compulsion Games and Undead Labs, like those 2 studios, need to start showing some shit.
Yeah, and I'm sure they will. Like, we got to say that all with in mind that Microsoft's summer event is, soonish, right? So, a big shout out to Joaquin and the Super Chase. Does anyone else think Tim Dog sounds like Barney Gumble from The Simpsons? He says, love you, Tim. Big shout out to Joaquin. Danny Passion, he says, finally got my PS5. My combo is complete, PS5 and Xbox Series X. Congratulations, sir. And is this one that Sir X-Man sent about MLB 22 could cost? Yeah, he did. Okay.
Yeah, we already got that one.
Okay, cool. All right, so big shout out to everyone else. Shout out to 1,100 people watching live, guys. Hit the like button if you haven't. Tell a buddy or two about the show. I got to say it 47 times the show. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, what is the last State of Decay? Low 70 meta? Maybe it's in the 60s actually.
Dude, and that came out what, in 2018?
18. Yeah, it's been a while, and we've seen that, and that's something I mentioned at the end of my last video. Is like we'd like to see some of these gameplay from a lot of these games that they bought the studios years ago, and we haven't. But at the end of the day, that they do have an event in a couple months, and until then, we just don't know if they're going to show them this year. So we will see.
The same month. They released the same month as God of War, or a few months after God of War, or whatever it was. And now God of War has all this gameplay, and then rumored to come out this year. And God of War is a pretty goddamn big game. So I don't know, man. You got to do something.
I think I will say this much though. I guarantee you they've got a lot more to show this game right now than Blue Box does with their.
Oh my God!
On Kickstarter tomorrow.
I do think it's going to take a little more time, and maybe it's spoiled by the fact that if they never got Bethesda, I think we would be having a far different conversation right now. Even with Activision, but just say Bethesda, I think that there'd be a lot of pressure now. But I do feel that because they got Bethesda and they've got people that there's going to be no problems. They're going to release a game and it's going to probably be great. And, most likely it's going to be, it does well, that they have that on their side, where studios like Compulsion and this studio can take a little bit more time because they have less pressure. But again, I do feel that if we didn't have Bethesda and we were talking about when the hell is this game showing, we would be a lot more critical and a lot more, like saying what the hell's going on than we are right now, because you do know that Redfall's coming, Starfield's coming, and these games from Bethesda, which are just solid. They always, they come out for the most part. And
I think that's partly to blame too, Tim, is pushing back.
Yeah.
The whole portfolio got pushed back with COVID alone. But then you add in, 1,084 new studios, and you're like, okay, so we have all this to work with. What's the pipeline for each of these? All right, you've got an extra 6 months, you got an extra 8 months. Sure, more and more time. At least for expectations of demos and deadlines was extended, surely, with the purchase of all these developers and IP and all these things that are in progress. So I would imagine that not only the pandemic, but also the acquisitions gave a lot of these guys more time and feeling like they have a lot more freedom there as well. But I think it's a good point.
I'm sure Microsoft has a plan in place as well as to when they're going to drop and release each of these games from each of these studios, because they want to space these out in a certain way where they're always continuously feeding Game Pass. So I'm sure they got their plans, and they'll be looking into these studios that do need extra, help, I guess, and making sure that they're, moving along. So
yeah.
I will say after this year, I'm not going to be using the whole Bethesda thing. Like, I'm going to tell them, like you said, it's kind of like the fault of COVID and all that. I don't want to hear that bullshit anymore after this year, because we're also looking at the Activision and all that. But at the same time, if you want Game Pass to be what it could be, and you get that 50 million, 60 million subscribers, you better start bringing out shit every month almost.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way you're going to do it. And after this year, if it's the same thing where, we're lucky I don't want to hear luck. I want to hear you bring out games.
Yeah.
And I want to see gameplay of them, and I don't want no bullshit from it. And that includes Xbox Game Studios.
Well, it's not like it's an excuse. It's the reality.
No, it's not. I'm not just saying the excuse. Like, I'm just saying, like, from the Xbox Game Studios, the ones that you've had for a while, that you've invested this money into, you've put all this time into, I want to see, as a consumer, as a person that loves the franchises, the games are always number one. I want to see those, and I want to
see them shits last year, Zucker. Fuck.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So this summer is a big freaking thing. Like, last summer, we had an awesome show, great show, and I expect the same fucking thing this year. I want a great show with a lot of stuff, Redfall, whatever you got to do. I want to see gameplay, and I want to see some dates announced, because that's what we want as gamers. We want games.
Yep, definitely. I want D-Batch to say something here, and I kind of got a topic that I want D-Batch to take here. Year over year, from week ending the 26th of March of 2021, Switch is down 54.2%. PS5 is down 32%. Xbox Series X and S are up 73.2%. Microsoft shipping an enormous amount of Xbox Series X consoles in March in the U.S. to close out the quarter. Looking forward to one of the probably the biggest March MPDs for Microsoft in quite some time. D-Batch, are you looking at any of these numbers you see? What is your kind of explanation for why Xbox is kind of running away with this so badly right now?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So the Switch number kind of confused me, the 54% that it's down, because the Switch is not actually out of stock. You can pretty much find the Switch at all retailers right now, at least in Canada. I'm gonna assume the same in the States. Like, it sells, but it's not like selling off the shelf. So I think the demand for the Switch has kind of died down. I think the people that wanted to get it kind of got it. So, unless they have some big games coming out, of course it'll move a little bit more, but it's not a next gen system, and people, they're seeing the PlayStation 5. They're seeing the Xbox Series X.
They want those next-gen games, D-Batch.
Yeah. So I think the demand has died a little bit for the Switch. Now, for the PlayStation, I'm surprised that it's down 32%. But then when I look at everything that's like the numbers that they've been putting out there, it kind of makes sense.
Mhm.
I've been telling you guys, like, for the last 3-4 months, there's been less PlayStations going out. There's been a lot more Xbox Series X's and S's going out. I know last week there was a lot of Xbox Series X's on Amazon. It was available for a couple of days. It sold out, and I think they got some more. Today in Canada, if you look right now on Best Buy, they're in stock in Best Buy. They got a huge shipment, like thousands of them. And although they don't sell out right away because, you know, the demand is dying down a little bit for all of these consoles to a degree, they still sell out because it's a huge amount of consoles. And we were talking before the show on kind of why is the PS5 down? You know, what is there something wrong on their manufacturing line? Are they having a problem securing parts for it? And now this is just my speculation on this, just thinking about everything. Maybe perhaps it has something to do with the binning of the PlayStation 5, because we know that the chips that are inside the PlayStation 5, they got to be binned because they have to hit a certain frequency. So they're bin chips. Perhaps they're not getting enough quality silicon or quality, whatever, that they can't achieve those clocks, and therefore a lot are getting thrown out. And they don't have enough to make the PlayStation 5. That could be one reason. I don't know. That's just.
Let me expand on what you just said here, because what you just said is literally the first episode of RDX that we found out about the PS5's clock speeds. That's literally the first thing that I came to. I know we came to this conclusion on the show, was that 2200 megahertz is crazy for any AMD part, let alone an APU and a console. And it's so crazy that the silicon they're producing at that nanometer size isn't reliably hitting that frequency, which all of them need to hit reliably to go into a PS5. Therefore, they have to be binned, like D-Batch is saying. They've got to make sure they are the highest quality of silicon. It's got to be tip-top shape to run that frequency reliably. And the problem is they can't produce them at scale that reliably. Even a year plus later, they're probably still struggling with this. So maybe that could be why the number of PS5s is down overall. But, what else could it be? Because we know they sold more consoles overall. I mean, we know they're getting more of those chips out than Xbox are right now, right? I mean, what else could it be?
I can't see it being anything else, because these are both made by AMD. So if Xbox is able to allocate so many chips, and especially for the Series S as well, I don't see the reason why Sony wouldn't be able to allocate as many chips. The only logical thing that makes sense for me is that there's something wrong on the line, and the only thing that I could point to it being is the bin chips. And now let's not forget that they also changed the cooling solution inside the PlayStation 5. And although it's just a few degrees here and there, you don't know if that impacts it overall, the stability of these chips that need to reach a certain speed. I'm not quite sure. It's just, I know Sony's in the business to sell consoles. I know that they want to outsell Microsoft. And personally, as someone that sees all the stock that comes in North America, they're simply not bringing in as much stock as Xbox. And it's starting to show. And Microsoft is starting to trickle away at the small lead that they do have in North America. And once again, like I always say, Game Pass is such a huge seller of the Xbox and the Series S. And it's starting to get traction, starting to get mindshare with gamers.
That's why
Xbox is no longer the bad thing.
Yeah, and that's why Microsoft, for those that are curious, went with the lower 1800 plus megahertz for their chips with more CUs, right? Not only could they get more power overall, especially once developers start utilizing, and the industry really starts utilizing RDNA2 features. I went into a whole thing at the end of my last video on that, and I'm sure a lot of you guys get where I'm coming from. But it's taken them off for the industry to get to that spot. And ultimately, when you're at a lower clock speed like that, you are able to not have to have such a grade A plus requirement, tip-top silicon. Literally never been done before, 2200 megahertz, and even on a GPU on the desktop at that point for AMD, let alone a console.
Yeah.
So, for 1800 megahertz, Microsoft can more reliably produce silicon and actually get way better yields at that clock speed and use it in their console. So they can use more of those wafers they actually produce, especially during a global chip shortage, especially Xbox Series S doing a lot of work there. I don't know. I mean, chat, let us know why you think the PS5 might be a little down right now over the Series X. We know it's selling well. We're not saying it's not selling better overall or any of that stuff. We understand Sony's brand power. The power in the damn PlayStation name is insane. You got to admit it. And it's still doing quite well despite it being a big old piece of shit. I'm just kidding. So,
by the way, the sale gap was over 1 million, and now it's at 500,000.
Yeah,
So
what'd you do with
that's
those
like-
other
that's a-
500K, Zach?
I gave them to Tim Dog. He took them. He took them, and he started handing them out at work and shit. It was nice.
No, what I think you guys brought some really good stuff for the audience and the panel. That's probably the reason. Listen, there's no doubt about it. PlayStation 5 is an extremely popular console. They just right now cannot keep up with the demand. But the thing that I think changed is that we know for a fact that they produce more PlayStation 5s than Xbox did last year. But I don't know if there was some type of deal that Phil secured, or had some type of deal going where maybe threw more money at them with the supply line. I don't know how that stuff works, but you have two folds. You have the Series S, as we talked about a billion times, takes two times less resources to make than the Series X, which gives you an advantage that you could just really, push them out. And with a 1600 clock speed, probably the yields on that are fantastic. So you probably have a real high yield rate. And same as the X, I just feel that this is going to last throughout this whole year. I really can see Xbox surprising a lot of people here. And yeah, it is due to the shortages and supply lines too, but it's also due to Xbox has really gotten popular. Like, it's not been this popular in a long time, and Game Pass is most likely the culprit, but it is at this point a very popular item. And it's going to have a pretty much strong... they were saying that Xbox was going to get outsold 2-1, and a lot of the fanboys went with that too. I don't think that's going to be the case. It's going to be a much closer generation.
Let's say PS5.
You're
they
fucking
had Look, I did that for fun. I did that for fun. I was going to be like, Fonz, you like my super scientific poll? I'm just trying to see how many Sony guys in the chat.
I almost said something about that, but I let it go.
Everything I do is just to fuck with you guys, okay? So I don't even care if PlayStation has unlimited amounts of consoles to sell. I think Xbox will be doing a lot better than what people think. Because both of them have been in shortage. Yeah, I mean, both of them have. It's undeniable. And Xbox is still doing quite well. And again, Series S has been much more readily available. A lot of guys have been waiting for Series X, which are finally kind of findable. Here and there. And again, both of them have been in a shortage this whole time. And at the end of the day, hey, we're seeing numbers, and right now we're just telling you what's out there. And we're kind of offering an explanation for that. Clock speeds could be an issue, but if that's an issue, Sony, that's if they're really losing millions of sales because of the damn clock speed, that's a massive, massive undersight on Sony's part. And you gotta either way, you gotta acknowledge it for what it is, right? But yeah, check out the poll in the chat. Is Xbox the best console in the market? Surprisingly, scientific numbers coming in, 91% say, yeah, we're going to see what kind of crackheads the other 8%, this 9% are. But yeah, I
said no on it.
I said no.
He said no, Fonz. It just says 99% versus no. Fonz.
Yeah.
I think it's a great poll.
For when the 2 days that Dee mentioned that it was widely available on Amazon and Amazon Prime, it shot up to obviously the most bestseller, #1 on Amazon. It also shot up for the month, like 40 places to 37, comparatively to like what the Switch is like at 22. So just 1-2 days jettisoned that Xbox Series X. So they had the supply, they had a lot that came in, but it flew and it sold out.
I want to mention something about that, because I've seen a lot of weirdos posting like pictures of, Series X being in stock at their local Walmart or whatever. And it's true that a local, like a lot of different stores had stock come in, but guess what? They're all gone now, people. Yeah. They were trying to create this narrative that, nobody wants a Series X. Look, it's in the cabinet. No, it just got there. Trust me.
He was just the one weirdo that went there to actually take a picture of a fucking console that was sitting there. Hey, Zachary, you want to get a few of these super chats here, and D-Batch can go ahead and say what you're saying, D?
No, I was going to say the same could be said for the PlayStation 5. You can go sporadically and see a PlayStation 5. And what are the locations of these freaking Walmarts? Like, there's like I don't want to say it, but you know, some distant town somewhere. You know?
That's
It's a
right.
small town in like Kansas or something where nobody, population 20.
Hey,
I got a couple of these
go
chats
ahead,
going here. Let me get. We got Splendid versus how many ponies will shit when they see Starfield?
at least 6.
I mean,
Oh wait, according to that one journalist, there's no PS5 fans that were waiting for Starfield. Remember that? DualShockers.
Yeah, okay.
What? Somebody
All
said
right,
that?
buddy.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that's good.
I did a
I like
video on
that.
it.
All right.
And then we got Splendid versus again. He said Starfield will change lives. No more master beta. What?
Okay, Splendiferous.
Splendiferous, you crazy
Say.
fuck.
He's sliding around his house in a 2 Astroglide.
So we got Lord Starkiller last one. One of the downsides for Sony since the PlayStation 5 is overclocked, Series X took the better route, and little bro Series S is doing big things. Or thumbs up.
Doing big things. KY Bob said would have been much better to see Microsoft get Ubisoft and or Crystal Dynamics instead of Activision, in his opinion. Shout out to KY Bob. He has his own podcast. Check him out.
Shit, Activision and Blizzard, bitch.
Hey, we also got Biscuit, Risky for the Biscuit. He's the new channel member. Shout out to you, brother. Do appreciate you, man.
I got
And
him
then-
again right here.
Go ahead.
Risk it put these stats aren't just because PlayStation are hard to get. You don't spend $750 on a console if you don't want it. So the Sony fanboy narrative is just BS.
Yeah,
What
over there in
about spending
Australia.
$70 on. What about spending $70 on the games you don't want?
No, Destruction All
Fonz,
Stars
I
is
kinda
quality
made
because it's
fun of
70.
You know, Fonz, I know I gave you like a little bit of crap about the $70 thing, but after seeing like even like I wanted to play like a little like breakpoint on my Xbox, I realized that to get the Series X, you had to pay more for it. Like to get the Series X version, yeah. And then I saw like the Tiny Tina's thing with the $70 and I'm getting really fucking annoyed with it. And I'm just like, I'm almost to the point where I'm like, I'm not gonna buy
I
these
got a free
$70
upgrade
games.
for Breakpoint. Really?
No, it's not free. Look it up. It's not free. You
Why
have to
did
pay
I
for it.
have it for free? I didn't pay for it.
I don't know. It's not free. Trust me, because they brought out the patch last year, end of last year. But you need to pay for it to get the Series X upgrade, which runs everything at 4K dynamic, 1440p 60. If you don't have that, you run it at 4K 30.
Yeah, I mean, I have the
maybe
patch. I showed it on the stream. I mean, it looks pretty good, but I didn't pay for it.
I don't know. It said that's what I was like looking at.
They probably knew you was Zalker87 from YouTube. They said, "Fuck that bitch."
Fuck that man.
He makes enough money.
Hey, big shout out to 1,200 people. Big
Look
shout out to
at
1,200
the
people
nails.
watching live, guys. I got 400 likes on the show. Let's try to get close to 1,000 likes for the end of the show. Do appreciate you. Talking about the latest and greatest stuff that happened and things and whatnot. And just let us know your thoughts. Also, our scientific poll is Xbox the best console. Surprisingly, down to 12% crackheads. 88%
I don't
yes,
think so.
12% no. We got 12% of the audience that's PlayStation fans right now. That's
right.
Hey,
Listen,
it's gotta be.
Listen. If you can, the games are subjective. You can say, hey, I like Sony's exclusives better, yada yada yada. But when it comes down to consoles, come on, man. The Xbox Series X, it's got way
it's
more
the better
features.
console.
It's got way more features. It's much more streamlined. It's more powerful. Like, it's just a better console. You can like the games on Sony, but let's just be honest here, people. Come on.
Yeah.
Streamlined in
There's
which
so much
way?
more I like about the Xbox Series X over the PS5. The UI is better in my opinion. The actual I like the VRR on the console that's not there on the PS5 still. I know it's coming soon. It's been coming soon for 4 months, but who knows when it'll actually drop. But I like so much more about I like the look of it better.
I really like the. I honestly really like the DVR. I think it's probably the best DVR out there.
Oh, hell no. That's one thing I don't like about it. Honestly, I think the PS5 DVR is kind of trash too, only because it
better.
records
I'm putting-
4K. It records 4K files.
Streamline.
It records 4K video in WebM files, and I cannot.
I'm
stand
putting
those
D-Batch's
WebM
claims to their test. The chat's going to be the executioner. Is Xbox more streamlined, chat, huh? 86% already, hey, look, it's not looking good, D-Batch.
I was asking D. I was like, what do you mean by streamline?
That's why Dealer was in the background giggling all quiet.
We both were. I was like, streamline. What do you mean?
D-Batch, it ain't
4K
looking real
60
good.
on
I don't
Stadia,
think
or what's going on?
Xbox is going to win a swimming competition here. Come on.
Bro,
Sorry, man.
Why didn't you
83%
have
D-Batch.
Switch? I think Switch is better than the Xbox. Honestly, the console's just great.
That
my
DVR
God.
is real good.
Yeah, the DVR is trash.
I like the party chat myself over there on the Switch.
Oh my God, D-Batch is really not looking good for you right now. It's
you
going
know
lower.
what? I don't know what I said. Please forgive me.
D-Batch, what's going on, man?
I had a brain fart. Come on, I'm allowed one.
It's pretty streamlined.
two.
Look, it's pretty streamlined. I got you back. Hey, Danny Passion here is the super chat. Fonz, you want or Fonz? Zachary, you want to jump on this? 81%
Yeah,
don't put
I
streamlined.
started. Danny Passion official says I started playing Horizon Forbidden West today, and I noticed some wired screen tearing. Anyone else having that issue, or maybe I've gotten used to VRR on Xbox Series X.
Speaking
Yeah,
of,
you've
when's that
gotten used to
PS5 VR coming out, Fonz? What the fudge?
Soon. It's coming soon. The last 4 months, they've been saying coming soon, and yeah, so we're waiting on that.
See,
I can't
stand
wait
by.
for
I stand by my statement. That's right. The Xbox is more streamlined. I stand by that statement. See, you just
Bro.
proved it, Fonz. There you go.
Yeah, you know what? Why, D? Why isn't VRR out yet? I don't know what Sony's doing, man. It's freaking.
You know, no, I've always said it. It has to do with their televisions. So they just put it on the TVs recently. They put on some of the older ones. They put it on the new ones. So they're just working out the quirks with it on the console. Apparently, I don't think it's up to par yet. They must be having some type of issues why it hasn't been put out yet. But I think it'll come. I think it'll come out in the next like month to 6 weeks. We're gonna finally see VRR on the consoles. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, it's gonna make for some really interesting discussions because now all the PS5, the Sony fanboys are saying, "Oh, you guys use VRR as a crutch." Oh, no, what are the Sony guys gonna do now when they're
Yeah,
able
they're
to
gonna use
experience it? You
Yeah.
know,
And
because VR is a good thing. I don't care. Like, listen, if the frame rate cannot maintain a steady 60 FPS, even at 50 FPS with VRR, it's gonna look and feel smooth like 60 FPS. It makes a huge difference, man.
I have to say to Dead Time in the chat, yes, they did push out all M, but all that does is basically automatically switch to game mode when you turn on your PS5.
Oh, auto low latency mode.
Yeah, the all M mode.
Yeah, Hargeet says, let's do that poll. PS5 VR be out soon. Yeah, I think that'll be a resounding no from what we're seeing from Sony right now. I thought about it, though. Definitely good idea. Hey,
but I want it. I want it on the PS5. I don't care if the Sony guys are out there saying, we don't want that. That's trash. No, I want it. Well, I mean, who's out there in their right mind as a gamer saying, I like seeing screen tearing. I like seeing everything judder go down to 20 frames per second. I don't want that. I want a smooth
Ghostwire Tokyo.
gameplay.
Did you guys see the performance on that? Where it has like a high frame rate mode, but because it's uncapped and they don't have VR support, it's just all over the place and it's screen tearing. Now that game there alone, if you had VRR support, you would be enjoying 90, 120 FPS in that game. Unfortunately, you can't do it because the frame rate's all over the place. The screen's tearing, and there's no freaking VRR, so you got to cap it. So VR is a good thing, and all you dunces that were saying that it's a bad thing and using it against Xbox guys, it's a beautiful thing. And when you finally get to experience it, you're gonna see why. And of course, you guys are frauds. You won't say, "Oh, we were wrong," but whatever.
We got to start by telling these developers to just learn how to fucking cap a frame rate and stop letting your shit run all over the place like people do their kids at Walmart. Just like control your shit and put a cap, at least an option. It makes no sense not to do that. So do that. But yeah, if you don't have that option, like Elden Ring was a far superior experience with VRR. It came to a point where I was like, fuck it, I'm just not going to capture footage of the game. Nobody wants to watch screen tearing dog shit footage of the game anyway, so I might as well just use VRR and take it off their capture card. And it was a lot different. Like, a lot of people didn't even notice that there was screen tearing in the game because they had VRR on. I was telling them, like, oh, no, it's bad. But then I went and played it how they were, and it was pretty damn nice. It does make a big difference.
You're talking about Elden Ring?
Yep.
Yeah. No, I remember dealers telling me to turn it off, and I was like, yeah, oh, come on. And then I turned it off, and I was like,
this is what it really looks like, bitch.
Yeah.
I remember saying that.
Yeah, I saw it on your gameplay here on the show, and I was like, ew, that's bad.
You can't even, it's weird, man. It's like I don't know. It's like D-Batch once compared it to having some pantyhose over his head and he was trying to watch a movie. It's just, it's not a great way to experience things like that.
Those pantyhose were a lot more streamlined.
I'll just tell people like this. If you're listening out there and you're in the market for a new TV, I really implore you to buy one that has VRR because it really does make a big difference in performance. It really does.
Yeah,
and if you want a TV for gaming, stay away from the Sony TVs. They have higher input latency. They're just not as good for gaming. They lack a lot of features. They're great for movies. They got good color accuracy and stuff like that. But for gaming, I would just get an OLED or a Samsung television or a monitor.
Yeah, who would have thought that in a generation where there actually isn't much of an excuse to need something like VRR, because you should be able to lock frame rates on every game if they did everything properly, that we would be talking about it more than ever, because there's just certain games that decide not to do it. I don't know.
Let's be honest, even on
standard,
PC,
man.
But even on PC, they have issues with dropping a few frames on games.
Yep,
like
of course.
you need that. They use it.
I'm just saying though, like there's games that constantly run at 47 to 57 frames per second. Like there's no game in the world that should actually be doing that on this kind of hardware. For what's in this box. But thankfully there is an option like VRR, and it's not a bad thing at all. Again, I mean it's another feature that hopefully Sony implements sooner than later. But anybody else hear about these? There's still persisting rumors Xbox Live combining with Xbox GamePass at a new lower base price. Microsoft might potentially combine these for, again, a new lower base price. Anybody kind of hear more about this?
Yeah, I think Brad Sams was the one to kind of break this, and he said that they're going to get rid of Xbox Live Gold, obviously, put it in there, and that the new starting price, he doesn't know if it's going to be Ultimate, so it'll be $15 a month, or if it's going to be the $10. But to get Xbox Live, you might have to start base at $15 a month, which I don't think is a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, can't you already get Xbox Live right now and Ultimate for... I'm confused. What do you mean?
That's what I'm saying. Like, it was very confusing, but they're trying to combine it. They're just trying to hash out what it could be because they want to get the price right, basically. But he's saying that it might be the $15 a month standard.
Look, I still stand by that they ultimately want to get rid of that gate that is Xbox Live, and they want to basically use their numbers through Game Pass to basically absorb that hit and say, look, there's so much incentive here to get these services that, of course, you want these damn services. We don't need to charge you for Xbox Live. We're actually holding you back from participating in the biggest gaming ecosystem in the world, and a lot of that revenue that they could be drawing in from guys that don't want to pay for Xbox Live. It's just a gate that holds people back out of your ecosystem, off of your online games. It makes no sense. You could really draw in the same people with Game Pass and just continue that snowball effect. It's unstoppable if you keep doing everything right. So ultimately, Xbox Live is a gate. They need to get rid of it. It should have never been a thing. Only on consoles is it a thing. Always said this. Always.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I just got to be like realistic. It's not going away anytime soon. It's just too much revenue. Gamers, unfortunately, they're accustomed to it now, so they're okay paying for it. You can see they have how many Xbox Live,
and there won't be people justifying it like right away, of course, because they don't understand that there's bigger. there's services that have more users that are gaming online for free and that are pretty much just as reliable. Because last I checked, Xbox Live, though still vastly far more reliable than PlayStation Network, is not as reliable as it was last generation, even, at least in my experience. Again, what's happening here,
The money coming in, though, I'm just saying, man, the money coming in is too much, even with PlayStation. I was telling you guys earlier, like PlayStation merging their services, like it's like so convoluted. Like what's going on? Like if I have the PlayStation Plus now, like, how do I upgrade to the premium tier? People were going online. They found some loophole where they were able to pay for a year for $59, and they were stacking it up to like 20, 33. One guy actually made a mistake. I saw it in the forums. He actually got PlayStation Plus to 2035 by accident. I was like, wow, good on you, buddy. But yeah, Sony doesn't really give us a way to, or they're not telling us how we can upgrade to the premium package. And just the fact that they're keeping, the base one, which is still basically PS Plus, they just renamed it, tells you that this type of service, it's just not going to go away. I agree that console players shouldn't have to pay for something that is free on PC, but at the same time, it's just built into their ecosystem that I don't see it going anywhere. And if it were to leave, honestly, I believe Game Pass would go up in price. That's my opinion.
Could be. That's kind of the similar logic, though, between price games and Game Pass games. A lot of guys are like, there's so much revenue, they're going to lose so much money. I'm looking at the long-term picture of drawing more people in to a monthly service through extreme value and participating in things like microtransactions, online gaming in general. You're bringing in so many more people, believe it or not. And with something like xCloud, where you're trying to draw in everybody on a cell phone, how many more users is that? Hundreds of millions on the low end. When you think about the market out there, and to have a gate up, can you make similar money each way? I think probably. But ultimately, I think the long-term thing is to get rid of it. That's what I think.
I think they need to get rid of it, and they shouldn't get a price hike. This shit should be free. I'm sorry. They're the ones that introduced playing on PC, where you don't pay for online.
Yeah, you can sign in on your PC with the same group of friends, play that PC version.
Yeah, like don't get me wrong. You're already doing the free upgrades, right? The smart delivery. Like, you're already doing that. Like, fucking awesome. Thank you. That
just like
should
PC.
Be there. Just like PC, and if you're gonna start making like people that are on PC play for free, then why not us? Why not console gamers?
And they get
why
the same
everybody?
Xbox Live experience as the console guys.
They get the same thing. You go into parties, you play with your buddies, you get the same invites, same everything. So that shit should be there. I'm sorry, and then not to mention, it's just like I don't like that. I don't like that you have to pay for it. I think that's done. I think it's archaic. I get it. Back in the day, people were cool with it, but like I've said multiple times, this is on us as gamers, people listening, people in the chat right now, us on the panel, everybody, to voice that we don't want to do that. No more. It's bullshit.
Well, that's what Jeff.
And if they hide behind you get free games every month, I will backhand somebody because those fucking.
Anyway, I don't
want
to go into this Xbox Live thing forever.
I got a point because
go ahead, Tim.
We didn't talk about one thing is that they are probably restructuring, and one of the things that was brought up by Jez is that they're looking into a family plan, which could be very interesting to say the least. So I do think that they are going to do something as far as Xbox Live paywall. 100% agree with you guys. Think it's time for it to go. I do think it will go. But the interesting part is if they do some type of restructuring, if they can add a family plan, what that would be and how that will be implemented is very, very cool.
That's worth reiterating. So a Game Pass family plan, is that what you said?
Yes, Jez Corden's article said up to 5 accounts could possibly is rumored. He doesn't know anything about the sharing, but it could be 5 accounts, and you pay a higher, obviously a monthly fee,
like $30 to $40, and you get 5 people with 5 people will have Game Pass Ultimate.
Yeah, and that's something somebody super chatted us about recently, like in the last month or two. I remember that. So that's kind of the latest. I'm sure we'll get another one from them next month, being like, hey, did you hear anything about this? Sorry, we covered it briefly.
But one thing I will have to say, though, Microsoft, if you're listening, do not get rid of the game sharing that you have now. If you go to this family plan thing,
it's technically not game sharing.
A lot of people are worried about that. No, I know, but a lot of people were worried that if they do have something to where you can access one Game Pass account, up to 5 accounts accessing this, that they were worried that game sharing would get messed with.
Yeah, I mean, the game sharing is only there in the first place as a loophole, basically. And they know all about it. Phil's talked to publishers about it, and publishers know all about it. And
us about it.
Yeah, and we talked to Phil in a party about it before. But yeah, I mean, they know all about it, and it's not technically meant to be game sharing. It's meant to be like, hey, you can go to different boxes in your own house, or maybe if you're rich like Phil, you got multiple houses. You go to one house over the other, and you can obviously boot up a box anywhere and have your entire library there and all that stuff. That's what it's really for. But, I mean, it is what it is. I think publishers have accepted it, almost 10 years later now, Tim? I mean, next year. So, yeah, I mean, it's been there for a while.
The reason why I mentioned that, too, is because, everybody knows that when you game share, you can game share Game Pass as well. That's why. So,
yeah.
Right.
And some people still don't know how that
you
works.
game share everything.
If they do the 5, like in family plan, I doubt you're going to be able to get 10. I think what they'll do is you can basically share your own account, but you can't share any of the dummy accounts or the 4 others. So you get a total of 6. And people will be like, why would you need that? Well, if they get into things like subscription on TV and stuff like that, you could attach to that. Or if you have family, obviously can use that. So there's going to be a lot of creative ways that you could add Game Pass, and
it's just what they said they were going to do in the beginning of the gen, right? In 2013, last gen, like, hey, 10 people can do this family plan, and now it's like they're bringing it back with even more value, and it's like no one's complaining now about it. So it's like you could just tell that they reverted to like a lot of the stuff they had back then, and they probably still have the tech, right? because it didn't go anywhere. They just kept it somewhere.
Well, I mean,
And
back
so
then
now-
it was you can only use the disc one. That's what pissed people off. But yeah, I mean,
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying like the family plan stuff. Like, hey, digitally, if you buy games,
Yeah.
like, and I get digital wasn't that big back then, like it was, but not to the extent it is now. So I like the family plan. I mean, I know multiple people that like we play Game Pass like on PC and Xbox that are just like, oh hey man, I got like this, and if we all just shared and had it, like why not, right? Like better value for you. I don't care how Microsoft makes their money. Like,
yeah.
but
And
it
I
would do
don't
nothing
get
for
paid
me.
by them either. I just want to say that. And I got to shout out to Risk It. I want to
Yeah,
come
you
back to
do.
you, Fonz.
Yeah, you
but
do,
I
shill.
gotta come back to you, Fonz. I gave a shout out to Risk It. Assassin Loop. I got a bunch of footage of her and I playing this as well. I'll probably use that in the next week or two. We've also got Dr. Cringe is back on Twitter. Just wanted to bring that up. And also, we've got Ruthless in the chat. We've got Toolman55, Eternal Shad Eye, Brigaders Blue, and the awesome moderators featuring Boss Mod Lethal Papa for keeping the chat locked down. We got over 1,200 people watching right now, guys. Hit the like button. Tell a buddy or two about the show. We do appreciate you. And Zachary Wife Fonz just finishes his thought. Can you kind of cue up some of these super chats here, buddy?
yeah, I'm going through it right
Go ahead,
now.
Fonz.
No. I was just joking about that whole situation. But for me personally, I don't need a family plan. I don't need up to 5 Game Pass accounts like that. It's just overkill for me. So I'm good with my game sharing with my son. That works out.
Shut
for
up,
me.
Fonz. You're ruining it for everyone.
Oh, shut up.
I
You're
want
taking
to
our
family
hype
plan.
away, bitch.
No,
Do you
no,
like
no,
gaming?
No.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great that that's happening. I'm happy for people that really want this because I've heard a lot of people that want this. Xbox Obi's one of them, and he's been talking to me about this. He's been wanting a family plan for a while, so it makes sense for a lot of people. Just not for some.
Yeah, I know
that's
Colt's
the
another.
only reason why I'm saying that.
Yeah,
You know.
cool, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't mind how to
So-
use it. So I got a couple of these. We got Nano Polymath. He says PlayStation devs couldn't work out how to get VRR on the RDNA 1.5 PS5. Had to wait on Sony TV devs teaching them.
Oh,
Jeez.
shit. Savage.
Talking that shit. We got Jonas the Dad. He said, "Welcome to the RDX, Winko Foods, Solemn, Oregon. My
Yeah, in
headphones died.
Salem, Oregon. He's in
Salem?
Winco
Solemn?
Foods. Yeah.
Thank you, Solemn. I don't know what I'm
He's in a
fucking saying. I
food
was thinking
place
sala-
listening
I
max
was thinking
volume.
salami and shit. My headphones died. Grocery shopping with volume on max.
Shout out to you,
Don't
buddy.
put your- yeah, just yeah.
The tomatoes look terrible. The tomatoes look terrible.
You got to spit
Excuse me,
shine
playing it
those,
out
boy.
loud.
Bitch aisle 3. No. All right, moving on. We got Nano Polymath again. He says RDX to Game Pass worldwide uptake instantly.
Oh, shit.
All right. We got Risk It. I want a cheaper yearly payment option. You guys? I do.
Yeah.
I think Sony doing it's pretty good. Obviously, Sony's just charging the same as Xbox, but a yearly one would be pretty good. I think that's most subscriptions do that. I subscribe to like comic book subscriptions for Marvel and DC, and you can pay monthly, which costs more over the year, or you could just pay like call it $50-$60 for the year.
Stop lying.
just,
You
like,
said that
have
was
it.
your browser's subscription. Next.
Dude, I don't
Oh,
have
that
a
was
Brother
his
subscription.
grinder.
You know
That
that.
was his grinder.
You know that Randolph Thor gave me his. He's a star.
Anyway. Next.
That's it. That's all I got.
No, there's some more. Ashtray.
No, Ashtray gave me a player count is important to Xbox, not sales.
Oh, shit. I think one translates into the other, and you need players to have sales in the first place. So which one's more important? I think they're directly intertwined, Ashtray.
Ooh.
Subscribe to
so
Ask Play. Subscribe to Ask Play Gaming today. Also, again, shout out to everyone
Hey.
watching this. We're gonna move forward. But yeah, shout out to everyone in the chat and all that stuff and the soundboard and whatnot. Xbox shows off some of their newest technology at Unreal 5 event. Epic Games, Tim Sweeney. We're basically unveiling some new Unreal 5 details. The new update's gone out to developers, and they are now able to leverage quite a bit more. And the Coalition showed off something called the Cavern. And just so everyone knows, the Xbox teams developing on Unreal Engine 5, Xbox is essentially leading the way, right? We've got In Exile, we've got Rare, we've got Undead Labs, The Initiative, whatever the fuck they're doing, Double Fine, Ninja Theory, the Coalition, and Obsidian are all confirmed to be working on Unreal Engine 5 titles. That's quite impressive, man. And they did show off the Cavern. I don't know if any of you guys saw it, but it was pretty awesome because they waited for some of the newer updates and they kind of updated their old demo. And the developer said, first and foremost, look, this is a small team building these things out. It's basically a passion project. And this is basically what we were able to do in a very quick time with a small number of us. And he expects that we haven't even seen the beginning of what Unreal Engine 5 can do on these consoles, and they were bragging about the Xbox Series S and how it was able to deliver basically the same fidelity as Series X at its target resolution
with ray tracing.
With ray tracing, right? As we covered while that demo was live, and it still is. You can download it today. I mean, think about how that tech demo looks and what you're seeing from, from fucking, I don't know, Zombie Army 4 or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, it all depends on your art direction and what you're going for. But I'm just saying, like, what the hardware can really do and deliver on, and what we are seeing right now is clearly night and day. It's kind of incredible.
The one thing I noticed, and this is what Unreal Engine 5 or 4, I guess, and 3 kind of had a little like stigma towards them, was that they didn't handle open world games very well. And now you look at what they're talking about with UE5, like the Gears developer said, yeah, we made this open world here, and they could talk about open world again. So I think that's a little bit of a hint.
Streaming was always kind of an issue with Unreal before, and now they're on SSDs with the velocity potentially. Somebody got to use velocity eventually. Shit. Why not do it now?
And then they even talked about The Witcher, like the Witcher team, CD Projekt Red, is doing Unreal Engine 5, which we talked about like 2 weeks ago. But they even showed some stuff like talking about like, yeah, this is why we're going with it, because we worked with them. And it was funny. Like they had a whole like 10-minute segment just concentrated on Xbox. The developers, they said Xbox has been working with, Unreal Engine for, 20 years basically. And that, the coalition, like, again, getting that spotlight because they are probably the best developer in the industry using UE5. Like, they are the wizards, and they're helping them. Like, Epic Games is basically using them to help push this stuff. And that's why when last year, if you remember, was it last September or August, the coalition said, yeah, it's going to be a while before you see anything from us. But they've been working on the Unreal Engine 5, they confirmed for like a year, a little over a year. And then halfway through that year, they got all the character models or the inhuman models or whatever they called it. The mutant models that, have the teeth, the eyeballs, the people. And it looked insane, dude.
The mutant
I was
models?
Just like, I don't know what they call them. They said like inhuman
cyborg models.
Metahumans or something?
Metahumans. Something like that.
Yeah,
was it metahuman? It was something like that.
I don't know. Who cares?
Yeah, who cares?
Either way, it looked fucking awesome, man. Like honestly, I can't wait to see games develop for this. And they really do talk about like the next gen hardware and like Dealer said, the Series S and the X and how it's going to push a lot of stuff. And like you said, time with these tools, man.
Yeah, and here's something too that no one's mentioned yet, but one of the biggest emphasis of the whole thing was. And this will make Hargeet happy. And probably, get up in the air and smack somebody with his beard. The time at which you can build these games and the library of assets that they're providing and all this work that they've done to make games more easily developed than basically ever, right? And they're trying to speed things up. They're trying to get rid of back and forth between art teams and technical teams. They're doing a lot to try to speed a lot of this up, and I think that's to be commended. You can now render or develop within the actual engine without leaving the main renderer or whatever the hell they were talking about. I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff that is basically aimed at tackling that thing that is games are pretty big now, and right now, they're trying to cut back down some of the time of development where it should be probably. With at least some of these games, it is definitely a massive issue, It's one of those things where I'm pretty impressed by everything that I'm seeing with it. It's I think it really is, and CD Projekt Red is one of the ones that kind of are testing to this. Like they're like, hey, we have seen the promise of Unreal Engine 5 so much so that we are literally going to ditch our own engine because this engine has so much more technology baked in, and it's going to be potentially much faster for us to work with. Don't expect to see that Witcher game for like 6-7 years though, D-Batch.
Yeah, listen. I'm excited for Unreal Engine 5, but honestly, a lot of people just kind of fell underneath the radar that direct storage, the API, is now available on PC. So this is going to start getting incorporated to all the games on PC, which obviously is going to trickle down to the consoles. And this is when we're really going to see the Xbox Series X and S shine, when PC is not holding it back. So these games can be developed with a broad spectrum of devices that it'll work on. And I think Unreal Engine 5 is just going to be a game changer. Like if you see some of the stuff that people have created with Unreal Engine 5, and these are like,
I
don't want to say they're not talented. They're talented, but they're kind of like regular folks. You know what I'm saying? Imagine when the developers actually get their hands on it, the stuff that they'll be able to do. And just like everyone said, from seeing the Matrix demo, like, come on, that's not even a full-fledged ass game, but it could be. It looks incredible, and everything about that demo just screamed next generation. So I think we're in for a treat, and I'm so happy that the coalition is like going full force with this, man.
And just that little demo they showed, I've seen things that looked more realistic, more photorealistic than that using Unreal Engine 5 on just on YouTube, like people that are just creating stuff on their own using these kits and Unreal Engine 5. And it's some of the stuff that I'm seeing is amazing. And it's no wonder that all these developers are moving to that, to the Unreal Engine 5. Yeah, it's definitely, we said it last time, 2D. It's going to become the standard, the industry standard. That's what people are going to be using.
I expect to see Sony games start to use it too. Sony just invested a bunch of money in Epic as well, not too long ago.
Or was it like 400 million or something?
Yeah, just a small 400 million. Yeah, I mean, I expect to see more and more Sony teams like Sony BIM we're using with Days Gone. A lot of those guys will jump over and realize, wow, okay, so you've basically automated global illumination, ray trace, all this different stuff. And we can just build out these worlds. You've done the work. You literally exist to build out these engines, and you're supplying this and all your assets to everybody. And even the ability to custom animate within that section of the renderer. It's really, really cool stuff that's not ever been done before like this. And I think Tim Sweeney, Unreal 5 is a much bigger deal than I think people initially thought when they first showed it off.
I also think that,
real quick,
like, I know, go ahead.
No, I just want to add real quick. People underestimate how quickly you're able to develop games on the system. Like Dealer said, so much stuff is already done for you, and other stuff that you want to implement, it kind of gets automated. So you're going to see stuff coming out a lot quicker with Unreal Engine 5. That's just my belief. Go ahead. Sorry, Zachary.
I was going to say, I also think that Xbox, I think they have like a deal or something with Epic where, because if you make over $1 million, you owe them a certain percentage of what you make after that, like $1 million on the game. I feel like they, like, if Epic is the coalition is helping Epic this much, like there's got to be a deal in the back of the, like, the back end where like they don't take as much from Xbox developed games because they're helping their whole engine, which helps them make more money through other studios. And if you look at how many Xbox studios are going to Unreal Engine 5, I get it's to like streamline development, but also get people hired because more people use it. There also has got to be something in the back end that they're working with, because it's been way too many times now where they've talked about the coalition, they've talked about Xbox, and it's almost like a partnership. Like it's almost like a hey, together we're building this.
I mean, even if they didn't get a dime from it, I don't think they need a dime to realize the benefits of working on an engine like this and getting ahead of the curve and being able to teach all the other studios.
I'm not saying get a dime. I'm saying take a little like
revenue share.
Take 30%. Yeah, like let's say they take 30%, but like with Xbox they take 12. Because they helped them develop it. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying they're paying them. I'm just saying it's like, I don't know. In my head, they're part of. I'm just saying, man, they're part of every single Unreal Engine Epic Games showcase of UE5. Yeah. Like the coalition and Xbox has been there almost every single time.
Yeah. And to the lead technical guy from the coalition, what the hell's his name? Colin. He said he was talking about coming on the show, and he is Colin Pinty, I think. He was talking about coming on the show and stuff, so maybe we'll get an interview with him at some point. I don't know, but they are working on Unreal Engine 5 stuff, and it all looks great. And I'm sure the coalition, even if they're not getting an incentive here or there, it makes sense to get a hold of technology and really want to push the damn hardware. Because as I talked about in my last video, it's a year and a half in almost, and no game is, even from Xbox, is utilizing RDNA 2 features. It's kind of ridiculous. Even Halo still don't have ray tracing. I mean, it's crazy. Horizon 5 could have easily done ray tracing in the Forza Vista mode at 60 FPS. They could have checkerboarded it or done some shit. Used fucking FSR, and they didn't do shit. So it's a time to start pushing the damn hardware, and I think that they are probably trying to get ahead of that stuff and maybe do it in a big way at some point. But, chat, let us know your thoughts on all this stuff. Thanks for joining us over. Go ahead. But I just want to do a hey, we're in the show type of thing. Thanks for joining us at over 1,200 tonight, guys. Hit the like button if you haven't. Tell a buddy or two about the show. We're going to do some outros, give some final shout-outs here. And just, again, we appreciate you. Let us know your thoughts in the chat and the comment section as well. Go ahead, Zucker.
Yeah, so we got Don Otaku. He says, I already have Xbox Game Pass until 2024 and keep adding when the 3 months go on sale for $25. I don't need a family plan.
Well, good job, Don Otaku.
Yeah, good job. Don Otaku again, he says, it's weird they didn't show Arcane and Compulsion when they've both confirmed they're working on UE5.
Yeah, that is weird.
Yeah. Yeah, we got Dub member for 11 months. I know no one in the panel or chat do, but I feel like people sleep on the coalition. Hope they blow people away with what they are working on. Yeah, man, I'm excited to see. I hope it's an open world like Gears with some actual like Gears
Locusts
game,
out
like,
there skating around. Yeah. Yeah,
no,
shout
I'm
out to
just saying,
Doug.
like,
Logan.
we were talking about Gears Tactics having like the gear and like items and stuff like that. Like, make it pretty cool, man. We got Dark CMF. He says US only Dying Light 2 Ultimate Edition. Happy birthday, Liz, and he put the code out.
Ooh, shout out to Dark giving away a copy of Dying Light 2. He'll be giving away a copy of Xbox Series X here soon. So stay tuned.
That game's trash. We got Jonas the Dad. He says, Zalker, you play games your entire life, no pop culture, and don't know the name Salami? Kids, geez.
Salami.
Salem. I know, that's why I said salami.
Shout out to Jones. Listen to us in the grocery store or probably the car by now.
So we got Danny Passion Official. I'm a filmmaker and I'm tending to use UE5 on my projects. I need D help to build a PC that can handle it.
He's going to send you an Etch-a-Sketch with some taped on parts.
DM me on Twitter.
We got Brigader Blues, completely off topic, but can we please get more merch design options with tank tops, please? There's only 2 options. Dealer buys all the tank tops and wears them himself.
Actually, I think there might be more than 2 options, man. I paid someone a lot of money to do that store, and there was I don't know if there were some errors there or what. I went back through a lot of that stuff. But yeah, just dig through the store. There's like hundreds of things in there, I'm pretty sure. And it's been a while since I've been in there and actually checked it out. But just not everything is on that first page you see. You got to go into the actual store on Teespring. If you're watching, it's down below. You can check out the shirts and stuff. But I'm looking at having a lot of that stuff redone again. It's just, God, it's just such a... Me and Sean Labrie worked on that stuff for like a year, and it's like, holy crap, now I got to do it again. But, just thanks for the feedback, brother. Do appreciate it, man.
Do you still have the shirt with the baby carrots for nipples?
No, I got a little shirt of you crawling out of your PS5.
The
He's
day
so
I got
tiny. You should have heard Fonz the day he got the PS5. He was just blown away by the fact that there were no cloud saves.
Oh, I was so pissed.
But according to some, there are cloud saves, Fonz, so you're a fuckface.
Oh, no, there's cloud saves if you pay for it.
I mean, no, they're free according to those people.
They're full of shit.
Sony forever. Hey,
I remember when the PS5 first came out, everybody was like, the PS5 controller is way better than the Xbox One. You got to check it out. And then I got it, and I was like, it's really not. It's better. It's way better, but it is not.
But then the PS4 one, maybe.
Oh, the PS4 is trash, dude. Like the PS3. I think the PS3 is literally one of the worst controllers ever made.
You don't like triggers that bow the wrong way?
I just hate the PlayStation 3 controller. I hate it. Like N64 controller for life.
Look, 6-axis is the future, bitch. Rumble's last generation. Go play Lair, all right? Get your shit together. Chat, let us know if you played Rare, or Lair, not Rare. And also, again, let us know your thoughts. Shout out to everyone that watched. We do appreciate it. I can't say it enough. We're going to do some outros. xCloud Tim Dog, wake the fuck up. Where do people find you, and what have you been playing?
You wake up.
There you go. He's awake now, chat. What have you been playing? Where do people find you?
Been playing the show, playing Madden franchise, and some other games. I want to get back into Cyberpunk. I don't know if I'm ever going to touch it again. And I still got to start Elden Ring. But you can find me on Twitter, xCloud Tim Dog, and you can chat me up over there. And see you next week. Good show.
Yes, sir. We've also got Fonzarelli, brother. What have you been playing? Where can people find you? When the fuck is your next video?
MLB The Show 2022. And you can find me on Fonzarelli Gaming here on YouTube. And don't know when my next video is going to be. Man, how about we get some good news to talk about? How about that? Right now it's pretty dead, but I'm still struggling with my show every Sunday.
Hey man, your subscribers want to hear from you, bitch.
Nah, your show was good, man. Your show was good.
Yeah, so check me out there Sundays, 2 p.m. West Coast time, 5 p.m. Eastern. Games Talk Live. Besides that, you can find me on Twitter, I guess. Don't even follow me there. Twitter's
really don't follow me anywhere. I'm a piece of
toxicity. Follow me at Fonzarelli Gaming here on YouTube. Fuck Twitter. Seriously.
Follow Fonzarelli at Fonzarelli on Twitter. Also, a D-Batch, brother. Where can people find you and what you've been playing?
You can find me on Twitter at D_Batch. Of course, on YouTube at D_Batch. I'm putting a ridiculous amount of time into WWE 2K, setting up my universe, creating wrestlers, downloading wrestlers. That game is really good. I wish I could play it on the Xbox, but it doesn't connect online. But that's another rant for another day. But yeah, I'm loving the game. It was a good show, and I'll see you guys next week.
And Zucker, buddy, what have you been playing? Where can people find you?
You guys find me on YouTube, Zocker87, Twitter, Zocker87. I've been playing MLB The Show. I started Rage 2 on the PC for fun because I remember that game being a lot of fun, and I just wanted to check it out. I started Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Haven't gone too far. I think like an hour and a half in, 2 hours in. It's pretty good. I'm enjoying it. Borderlands, but fantasy, and it's a lot of fun. Obviously, still playing through Elden Ring. And outside of that, just like playing multiplayer games with my buddies like Warzone, which is awesomely optimized, and Riders Republic. I know it's actually a pretty fun game, man. It's pretty cool, like snowboarding, biking, bunch of like extreme sports, and it's a lot of fun. Good mind-numbing game. So yeah, that's what I've been playing and having a good time. And Fonz, make a fucking video because I enjoy watching them. So there you go, grounded gamer.
You bitch. Ashtray says you need some gamers on your panel. Hey, Zach, just because you can't find the games Zach's playing on Xbox, don't mean he's not playing them on PC. Come on.
Come on now. Come on now.
Ashtray, not all of us have our kids. I don't have any, but have our kids play all the games for us, all right?
Yeah, you can also find Zocker and find him eating his mic.
Oh, shit. That Grounded Gamer thing got to him.
Bitch, back up.
Find Grounded Gamer, and also find me here on YouTube and also Xbox Live at iSpace Dealer Space. Look, Fonz, you can't be mad about that name, okay? We talked about that before you went out with it.
Hey,
I even told you I don't like it.
Hey, I'm not mad about it.
All right.
It's old news. It's old.
Anyway,
old.
Follow me on Twitter at dealer_gaming and Xbox Live at iSpace Dealer Space II. Message me, hit me up, play some games, whatever. And I actually do that, so ask around. Hey, but yeah, thanks for letting us know your thoughts, and I'm going to get the fuck out of here. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah,
everybody.
Fuck Twitter.
It's a wrap.
Fuck Twitter.
Fuck Twitter.
Out of nowhere. Jesus.